Hello, good day, good morning, good evening. Ciao. Oh, namaste. Can I think of anything else? Aloha.
Well,
Hey Kim, how you doing?
I'm good, Rachel. How are you?
Well, welcome viewers, listeners, and any of you in wherever time and space that you may be listening, watching, or feeling this episode. Welcome. Wow, what a great journey that we're going on right now, going through these chakras. How's it been so far? Because, we're at the halfway point.
Mm-hmm.
Any
Well,
new ideas or anything new come up as we're learning these energies, Kim?
oh, so many new things. I'm more open to things, more receptive to things. Feeling more. A lot of things. Remember, I said were also hitting me in my throat. So I know that's the next chakra. So, which, to me, my heart is in my throat. So it was good to go through. Isn't that weird? I mean,
No, it's
not in the
beautiful.
not in the expression of oh my god, my heart's in my throat, not like that. But no, it's exciting. It's been a mind opening experience.
So when you said a beautiful
Mhm.
intake or a beautiful step in for us for the
Um,
fifth chakra, saying that your heart was in your throat.
mhm.
And of course, there's a ton of different symbolic meanings that we could say for that. But just
Mhm.
for this example, we're going to say that this heart energy that we have here, our new brain, our new way of living through our heart, is up coming up here. And so we need to speak our truths, right?
Mhm.
When we talk about this fifth chakra right here, we're also talking about our thyroid, and I know people men like tune out when I say that. No, 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 this affects you too. This affects everybody right here. So even if you don't have a thyroid, you still have your own prostate and your own other ways of balancing your own energy. So it's symbolically we're going to talk about it up here.
Mhm.
So we're talking about communication, and this fifth chakra is sapphire blue. I kind of got into the mood with it,
Mhm. Mhm.
And so when we're talking about our throat and our ears, one of the first things that we're taught with Reiki healing, when we lay our hands on people to do energy healing, is to not directly touch our throat when you're healing this area, because a lot of people still hold trauma from, I don't know, nooses, being strangled, karmic
Mhm.
crap.
Mhm.
So when we are energetically working on this area, it's always best to either send it distantly with your eyes or with your heart, with that vibrational energy,
Mhm.
or to place your hands directly above it, about 3 to 4 inches away, and work in the aura of the chakra.
Mhm.
Now, this is a little bit tricky because remember how I said that when you look at your chakras, that in the back of the body is how we receive, right? And then in the
Mhm.
front is how we give out. Again, it's not everybody and it's not exact. It could also come in from the side because we are spherical round beings, but just for simplicity to make it us understand, right? So in the back, guess what is the back of your communication, your fifth chakra? Any ideas? What's back here?
Well, you did talk about that dark diamond, that kind of
Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes. It's your brain stem.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Okay, so the back of your fifth chakra is your brain stem.
There's a
What
brainstorm.
an important organ in your body. Not that all of them are. Well, maybe your tonsils. But this brainstem here is really this control mechanism of your thoughts,
Mhm.
of your feelings. And so you really, really want that area to stay clear. You don't want any junkety junk in there. And so when we work on our fifth chakra, it's not just the communication that we give out to the world, it's how our body communicates with us through the brainstem and the thyroid.
Mhm.
Did you catch that? It's how our body communicates with itself, as well as how do you communicate with others. So that's why this area is super important because did you know you could talk yourself into not aging? Did you know that this is where you put in these thoughts and concepts into your brain where you make your own protein chains of memories that
Mm.
you are basically making your own contracts with yourself? Yes, this goes back to the fact that you are a co-creator on this plane and that we do have the God spark within us. So, did I just say that we can stop ourselves from aging?
You sure did. So anyone, there could be people right now who have that sense of things, but you're just hearing it confirmed. And I'm not even going to tell you how old Rachel is.
Well, I think my hair gives it away because I'm going au natural right now.
Well, not really. There's some people who go gray extremely early.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
true. It's true. So when we skip, hop, and jump, and we tell our bodies how good we feel, how much we love ourselves, and how
Hmm.
that we are in
Hmm.
a regenerative state, all we're doing is talking to ourselves, not in a institution way, but in a positive
Yeah.
reinforcement of who and what we are.
Hmm.
And so when we look into this energy disk, this level of understanding, it's not just about communicating our words, our truths, and our beliefs outwardly. It's about also communicating inwardly.
Hmm.
So, on a side note, because you all know how much I love to give side notes, this is a great example of the new paradigm of love.
Hmm.
All right. So, old school, you know, 3 years ago, the old ways
Fast, yeah. Hmm.
was that God was above us.
Hmm.
We learn that in Reiki and different energetical healings. When we look at the original symbol, the chakra goes from God above down to us on earth, and then it spirals out. And we have been taught that Father Sky is above us. We've been taught that the angels are above us, that everything is out there.
Hmm.
And today, in this heart chakra, we're understanding that it's all in here. So when we can communicate clearly with ourselves, when we have a clear understanding of how we physically want to appear, how we want to, you know, it is also about exercise and eating the proper foods. And that's for your body, not the proper foods that, your friend eats, because we all
Hmm.
have different body types, right?
Yes.
And you have to find what your balance of your body type is. I'm not here preaching to become a vegetarian or a vegan. I'm here preaching that you go find a nutritionist and you find what's healthy for your body. And then you communicate with the creator that you are. You communicate, you talk to your source, your connection inside of you, and you set up your own game plan. And you get to choose you. I know I must sound pretty narcissistic because all I talk about is everybody loving themselves and everybody
Well,
needs to chew themselves.
I don't think so, really and truly, because if you talk positively to yourself and treat yourself with unconditional love, then you're automatically going to project that outward toward everyone else. So, um, I think that's become pretty evident to people that what we tell ourselves about ourselves is how we treat the rest of the world, really. What we truly believe about ourselves is how we treat the rest of the world. I don't know.
Thank you for
That's my.
saving that, Ken, because that was exactly the point that I was hoped that would be made.
Mm.
The more that we love ourselves, the more that we take care of ourselves and respect ourselves, the more that we can step forward in love at a medium pace. And that's true for every situation of everything. I was asked the other day, how do I tell starving children just to love? And I'll tell you exactly how to tell children how to love. If their parents loved themselves and loved their lives, then their parents would make sure that there was food. And I know for a fact, because I grew up as the child on government milk. I grew up as that, latchkey kid that had to do everything themselves. But my mother and my father loved themselves enough to give me the tools, and they found ways to take care of us. And they had nothing. And we had horrible sicknesses as well and diseases. And both of my sisters almost died in childhood. That's not the story that we tell. We changed the perspective as a kid. Did you know I didn't even know that I was poor until high school? I had to sit in my high school government class to understand what money was, and that I finally understood that I went to one of the wealthiest schools in the United States in Omaha, Nebraska. 1 in 12 families where I went to school were millionaires in the 90s and 80s. And my parents were up and coming, but not at that time.
Mhm.
And so
Well,
there was huge pressure of not keeping up with the Joneses. And I didn't even know that I was poor.
mm.
I,
Well,
I go on.
I mean, I have a different perspective in that I did not grow up poor, not at all. Just middle class. But my parents both grew up poor, and my one of my grandmothers, there were times where she just didn't know how she was going to feed her children. And she would take jobs. My parents, I'm first generation American, so my parents are from elsewhere. And so she would leave the island and go to other islands to get work or whatever, leaving her children because she was poor. There were times where, I mean, my parents grew up in a culture where you wore uniforms to school and you always looked well pressed, well dressed, but you go home for lunch and she said there would be no food there for them really and truly, but you still had to comport yourself in a certain manner. So
So your
we'll have to see
mother
about
loved
that
herself.
poverty, not eating and so on, because we know it's not a huge issue. Maybe it's not as big an issue here, and even where my parents grew up, as it is in some parts of the world where they're just devastated by lack of. So that's something to think about.
And
Something to.
it's something that when you're a child, you can't control your environment.
Mm,
You can't,
right.
but you can be kind and compassionate and work towards yourself.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I have read and I have heard amazing stories of children, even people that I know as kids had even less than what I did and had horrible experiences, but they found love and they found a way to get through it and without blaming others for their situation.
Mm,
So it's not going to happen overnight. But when you can communicate with yourself, when you can communicate with others what your needs are without making people feel defensive. Have you ever tried to tell somebody something that you know would really help them and they just don't hear you? Have you ever had that situation?
Of course. Rachel, I've been married for 30 years. Of course.
That was brilliant. Okay. So here's this great example. Our partners, right? We love our partners. We want them to listen to
Like
us.
Motley right now.
No, no.
Oh,
But sometimes they can't hear us, right?
yeah.
And
Mhm.
believe it or not, sometimes it's our fault.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm aware of that. It's like I can't stop myself either.
And so when we just stop and
Oh.
realize that, okay, so for me, I tend to be a storyteller and I start to
Mhm,
babble a lot because I
mhm,
like to tell a story, right? So I
mhm.
understand my partner doesn't want to hear long exaggerated stories anymore. And so, they just shut off.
So yeah.
As well they should, because, instead of saying, "I just went to the grocery store," I
Oh.
have to say, "Oh, all of these crazy old ladies and their prescription drugs in the parking lot. And then I
Oh.
was walking through and there was this and that." No,
Mm.
no. He's like, "Really, all you have to say is you went to the grocery store." So communication is one of the most important aspects of not
Yeah.
just communicating with yourself and your body,
Mhm,
but being able to communicate with other people in a simple, elegant manner so that they understand what you want, what you need, and you can hear.
mhm,
Uh-huh. You can hear what they want and need. Because what happens is
mhm.
as you
Yeah.
know, we hit a point because we've been with somebody for so long that we just
Mhm.
actually stop listening because we think we know what they're talking about. We think we know what they're gonna
Yes.
say,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah, or even think we know how they feel about certain things, and then come to find out that, whoa, no, who are you? It's fascinating. It never, uh, um, every opportunity, we say this all the time, is an opportunity to learn. And even with somebody you've been with for 30 years, still there are times where like, whoa, that's a new that's a new lesson there that I'm gonna have to learn, or that I just learned. So yeah, it's an constant thing. But that's a gift.
It is, it is, it is. So when we talk about our fifth chakra again, we're talking about
Mhm.
taking the cotton balls out of our ears
Mhm.
and actually stopping and listening to what people are actually saying. Now,
Mhm.
I have a really, really bad habit of um, being a multitasker, you know? Oh,
Mhm.
I can hear you while I'm doing the dishes. Oh, I
Mhm.
can listen while I'm over here typing on the computer or text
Mhm.
messaging. Actually, no, you can't.
Mhm.
For a second, actually stop and give whoever you're speaking to or listening to your full attention.
Mhm.
We have to slow down as a society, and this is one easy way to slow down is to actually stop what you're doing and pay attention to the person that you're talking to.
Mhm.
Now, most likely they're not going to give you the same respect. I mean, we all have our friends that multitask even more than I do, and they
Mhm.
still may be talking to you 100 miles an hour and texting and doing everything else. But if you can stop and look at them and show them a little respect and time, then you have created a new energy pathway, right?
Mhm.
And you can actually hear what they're saying and not get so defensive. And actually was like, oh, that's interesting. I learned something.
Mhm.
And it's shocking what you can actually hear. So let's see what the bathroom mystic has to say. I think it's time to see what's going on in the bathroom of our worlds. Hey friends, Bathroom Mystic here. Good to see you again. How's my hair looking? I know I'm being kind of silly. Let's see what the cards have to say to you today. Pow! And there we go. It's Palm Springs. If I could date a mountain, I'd be dating this mountain. This is the San Jacinto in California. Right here at this photograph, you actually can take a tram and go all the way up and see this beautiful view of Palm Springs, of Southern California, all the way to the Salton Sea. I love this picture because it really shows two different seasons or two different situations. First of all, we've got a good clear blue sky. So the message is very clear here. You can hear it and you can speak it, whatever it means to you. The second is that you see the snow and the ice. So you have water people here, but you have water people in the form of snow and ice. Wonder Twin powers. Oh, sorry. Can't activate with myself. Well, I guess I could. That's another story. All right, so we can see the beautiful San Jacinto here. And then you see these palm trees. Wow. Palm trees also need a lot of water. So you have standing people here. And standing people represents you and me and the people around you in your community. And you can see right here, it's a community of palm trees. And it does look like everybody's standing in solidarity. So even though there's a change of seasons, the winter behind them, coldness, maybe things become more complicated, or people bring difficult times in. It also could be the time of year that the snow means, but it's also bright green. So the trees love you, your community loves you, and you're all going to stand strong together. And it's a togetherness because the clouds are just where the snow is. The clouds are right with the snow, so it's not blocking communication and it's not stopping you for speaking your mind or listening to things properly. So this is a real community support. Things are in transition. Community support. You got all your tree people here. You got a giant mountain, so it's support. You got structure here. Your family might even be supporting you in your new community. But it's in change of transition of that winter time, which is that transition, maybe hibernation, maybe things are in a cocoon, maybe things are getting ready to explode out, because it's not a negative transition, because see, everybody's standing there together. All right. Well, seems like it's time for me to go. This is your bathroom mystic. Thanks for joining me today, and make sure that you follow me on Instagram at Bathroom Mystic.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Yay. Okay. So we got a little insight there about the transition. And again, we try to make this for all time and space, but there has been a lot of violent actions that have taken place over the past in our American history and all history right now. And so maybe this card is talking about this transition that we're going through of the community standing together in love. And in love, to transition out of violent means to be able to communicate better with each other, to be able to communicate what our ailments are, what we're at dis-ease with, instead of picking up a gun to resolve it in a violent way, to find our voice to speak up what's wrong with us and to clear out our ears so that we can hear the truth and not fall for the conspiracies, not fall for the fear, and not fall for the control methods that are being placed out there for us. So, this fifth chakra, as much as I'm all about the heart and that's where we have to live and that's how we have to allow ourselves to rule, this fifth chakra is so important so that we can use our language, use our voice, use our expression to communicate instead of battle. I don't know. Battle the thoughts within ourselves, the negative concepts. I mean, I know that when I get sick, I go down into a downward spiral. And, you know, I have to be kind to myself and eat well and pull myself back out. What are your thoughts on this, Kim? You got real quiet.
Well, yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about that. It's how we learn, I guess, to speak to ourselves kindly and love ourselves, but also then to see other people, young people who are still finding themselves. So to take the time to see other people and be, you know, be there for them when we can, and at the very least, be kind to them. Be kind to them. Um, Yeah, I don't know what to say with regard to, what's recently taken place because it's still stunning to me, and there's been so much said about it. But I know that how we feel about ourselves, we really take it out on everybody else. Um, so that seems evident to me. So it's a big picture thing too. It's not just about the actual weapons, although that is obviously an issue, but it's about how we feel about ourselves, and what's instructing us and how to feel about ourselves. We're all quite different. We're all very similar and quite different. So we have to um, appreciate the differences in ourselves. There's another issue that's at the kind of the forefront now to do with comedians and so on and their acts or whatever. And then I look at this is a completely across. I looked yesterday at our president addressing our country, and just the things that we say about each other or about other people. We have to be mindful of that. Again, it has to be. We have to might as well push out love toward people. Might as well want the acceptance that we want for ourselves, we have to give to other people. um I'm sure
Well said.
that I said, but that's where we are. That's what we have to do. It has to come from every atom of our being, really and truly. We are that powerful, where if it came from every as one individual, just exude this love and respect and consideration for self, and then push it out. And if we all did it, as well as vote, y'all vote. But if we all did it, we can actually change our world. And so we have to get over that idea, or whatever we were taught, that we are not that powerful. We are actually that powerful. Every one of us, really. We're that powerful. And power can be scary. And we associate power with things like money and stuff. That's earthly power. But and power can be scary when we realize how powerful we really are. But then just relax in it and breathe. And start simply. Just love yourself.
I don't know how better all else that could have been said. And I think you really closed us all out and pulled it all together. The fifth chakra, this energy, is about communication, but it's about communicating clearly, simply, not just with the world around you, but with yourself.
Mhm.
And it's about finding this blue sapphire energy to give you strength to hear so that you're not defensive, to give you a beautiful voice so that you can speak without yelling. Well, and in my case, maybe not so much cussing. I do have a large vocabulary, but I really like cuss words. I'm so sorry. I gotta change. All
Oh,
right. So it's about communicating, right? And then it's
oh,
also about communicating with your physical self. You know, telling your body how much you love your body, telling yourself how you want to be in that natural state, whatever that is for you, and eating well and loving you.
and even when you think you're not eating well, enjoy it to the fullest and enjoy your body, and just say a prayer that whatever this is I'm eating, may it you know contribute to the health of my body in whatever way it can, even if it's just in the bringing of joy. For
That's called blessing your food. And there is a fantastic guru. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
forgot your name. That ate McDonald's for 3 months, just like the
Mhm.
movie. The guy did
Yeah, I know who you
Size Me or something like that. And
super
so
size.
Super
Yeah.
Size Me. And
Yeah.
this guru wanted to prove that it's really here. And so he
Mhm.
ate the 3 months. He ate the same McDonald's like that guy did, except
Mhm.
for he blessed it and asked for
Mhm.
the highest good every time he ate it.
Mhm.
And
And
he
that's
was
not about
able just
mhm.
to get the energy. He didn't put on any weight. He didn't
Yeah.
change anything. He didn't even, I don't even think he was a big exerciser, but it
Mhm.
was just what you said.
Mhm.
Bless it. Don't feel guilty. Don't hold on to it.
Mhm.
Just accept that you ate it for your highest good.
Mhm.
And then maybe try not to eat it again if it's really bad for you.
Yeah, or go take a walk, have a drink of water, and go take a walk around your neighborhood if you can.
If you
Not
can.
close
Right,
to the
right.
sidewalk, right?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. Just or dance. Put on some music and dance. Dancing is the best high. But
It is.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us here at Way Chill Living.
Mhm.
As always, you can follow us and subscribe down below and check me out at waychilllife.com. We always have events going on, and we are able to do online sessions for you, whether you just have a question to ask or you're ready to step into your higher self.
Mhm.
This is Rachel Otto,
Kim Mello,
and we hope
and
to
thank you, everyone.
stay in this now moment of love.
Yes, divine love, people. Bye.